Let me check in with Wshngtn Blck by dgyn. This is tracks 21 to most of 30. Not all the way finished listening to 30, but I better check in now because then I'm not back out here to sit on the swing and watch the dogs wander around in the dark. So I'll do it right now. Um, so yes, Titch into the white, and pretty soon after, the old man, his father, also dies, probably from, well, I think he was on the edge of dying anyways, but his son committing suicide by Arctic. By the Arctic is probably the thing that pushes him over. Um, Luckily, his companion Peter basically just sort of gives Wash some money, a book, and says, head out, take off. So he does. He goes to Nova Scotia, which it's a Canadian author writing about Nova Scotia, and it's not some kind of egalitarian paradise. It's a really rough and brutal place which doesn't have the institution of slavery, but has lots of really racist guys, and he goes through this is a good couple of years jump here of him kind of becoming, probably going from like 16 to 1920. And he doesn't draw in his time. He's like, he works at docks, he works as a chef, um, delivers stuff. At one point, some of his coworkers basically take him out, beat him, urinate on him. It's like the same guys he was actually working with, and there's lots of stuff of basically, the blacks there would treat each other even more savagely than the whites would. So it's a really, really brutal, tough place. And he's like, I need to make something of myself. And so he does actually gather up painting stuff again, takes himself out, is painting, like sea life on the shore. And this is his time to kind of do this. He does have a friend, Medders, who never, another black man who just, loves, never never backs down from a fight, eager for a fight, looks for a fight. But he goes off on his own, Wash, and he starts painting again. And it's like, he's like, oh man, I've lost so much in the time that I wasn't doing it. Like when I was 11, this just all flowed out of me so easily, and now I've got to practice again. But he does. And he sees a man up the thing, and it's like, shit. It's because like he's had inklings that, is it Willard, I think is the name of the slave hunter. It's like there's some guy asking after him, and he's like, what's going on? Is he looking for me? But Shira! Sure is protecting the backyard for democracy. And anyways, but it turns out, no, it's a woman. It's an artist. And then it turns out it's a woman. And you're like, oh crap, a woman's talking to him because she introduces herself. It's like, oh, would you teach me to paint? And it's like, crap. And she's tan. She's tanned woman. And her name actually is Tanner Croft. And he does get to see her once or twice, and he does develop a relationship. And his friend Medders is like, "You stay away from her. She is a white woman. She's the devil. This will get you killed. This will get you killed very easily in this super racist society, even if it isn't a slave society." Oh, and they've heard that basically slavery has been outlawed in in like Barbados and those areas, not the States, but in Barbados and stuff like that. And he's like, oh well, this means maybe I'm free, but why would, you know, the Willard guys still be hunting me? It's like, well, probably because Erasmus Black is a guy who would definitely hold a grudge and would definitely hunt you down and have you killed, regardless of whether you're a slave or not. But he goes to deliver something, and he finds out that, oh, actually Tanner Croft was like, oh, there's a Mr. Croft. And at first he thinks, oh crap, it's a husband. But it turns out, no, it's a father. And as he is delivering some stuff, he actually realizes this is G.M. Croft, a famous naturalist illustrator, and he knows his work, and he's like, he's a legend, and he's like, yeah, and he's fine. It's interesting. He invites him along for as they go out in a thing, but it's like, basically, if he looks at his daughter, it's like, no, that isn't going to happen. He may be an open-minded scientist, but he's not open-minded when it comes to his daughter. His daughter, who it turns out is not pure white, is a half-blood. I'll say half-blood because I think of Half-Blood Blues from S.A. Dugan's other one of her other novels. She's, I think, Peloponnesian. She's not pure white, and indeed we find out from the father that she hasn't been accepted in the society. And they have kind of a spiky relationship, he and Wash and Tanner. She actually does come to him, and he's like, oh, well, you just came to me because you want me for diving. It's like, no, I came because this. And it's like, they kind of there's a prickliness to both of their relationships, and you get the sense that it's, you get the sense, get up, go on, up you go. You get the sense that it is because they are both outsiders in the thing. She being half white, half I think Peloponnesian, Hawaiian, something like that. Because he's a slave, but he's also an artistic former slave, black, scarred man, but also has artistic kind of qualities to him, so he doesn't really fit in any words either. So they have a connection. And there's a very vivid scene which actually calls to the mind the cover of the particular edition I have, which is he does go out and he does do the dive for them. He gets put into a suit, lowered into the ocean to gather up, I guess, the traps that they've laid, and there is I believe it's an octopus that flutters up, and it's gloriously flowing kind of orange coils, and it has black ink that comes out of it. Black ink. Wshngtn Blck, who also has black, the black of paints and inks, maybe, of stuff like that coming out of him. And he raises up his hand, and it comes to him, and it comes and it coils around his hand, like it allows itself to be captured, or it's like there's something there that just, like, it's so beautiful. And so he brings it up, and it's one of the specimens, and he's like, oh, we shouldn't kill them. They should be carried back alive for science to see, because just as dried specimens, you just don't get that wonder, the beauty of them. But that's not going to happen, probably. And so now they're in buckets, and he's talking to the father, who's like, yeah, you and my daughter, that's not going to happen. She's an odd one, and she's not accepted in society, but she doesn't help herself by being so odd, so eccentric herself. So, I mean, she's wearing trousers, she does the diving for old man. She's like very much not a white English lady, and probably will never be. So yeah, some good stuff in this section of Wshngtn Blck by S.A. Dugan. I'll see you in the next one.